Hello and welcome back to the channel. I have two important questions for you. Do you want more distance on your drive and do you want to stay injury-free? I'm sure most disc golfers would say yes to both of those questions. So I'm here today to help with both of those items. I'm going to go back to my original expertise, which is baseball. I was a baseball coach for 24 years. I've also got my master's degree in kinesiology, and I'm going to use that to help us develop a workout routine that will help improve our core strength and stability in parts of our body to help improve both your distance and also help you stay injury-free. The exercise routine itself is meant to be around 5 minutes long. Could be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter depending on how much rest you need. Generally, when I do it, I don't take a rest in between the activities, but I've been working out for a very long period of time. So if you're new, you're probably going to take some rest in the exercises themselves and in between each exercise. So the routine itself will take a little bit longer than 5 minutes. But once you get into it and get really good at it, it should take you less than 5 minutes. This exercise routine also requires no equipment. You'll see when I do it in a hard cement floor. This exercise routine is also made so you can do it pretty much every single day. I would suggest doing it on most days, but not every day, mixing a day off every once in a while for a little bit of recovery. But you're not doing heavy weights, so you don't need those days off like you normally would if you're doing a very intense routine. There are many different advanced movements that you can do to improve your strength and conditioning and injury prevention, but this is meant to be pretty simple and pretty basic. There's tons of great information out there as far as strength and conditioning is concerned, so don't be afraid to check it out. If you're going to start an exercise program or do this routine and you have any underlying conditions, make sure you check with your physician before you go and start doing these exercises. That way you can make sure it's safe for you. But without further ado, enough talking, let's get to the workout.
All right, here we go. We're gonna start off with a 1 minute front plank. Basic technique is we're gonna get in somewhat of a push-up position and make sure our hips, back, and head are pretty much in as straight of a line as you can make. And you're just going to hold it there for 1 minute. A couple of the classic mistakes we want to avoid. We don't want to get our butt up too high or sag our hips down too low. If you're just starting out and you get tired during the 1 minute, you can just drop your knees and take a little bit of rest, then get yourself back into the plank position. If you're not strong enough to get into a perfect plank position to start off, there is a lead-up plank position where you start with your back in the correct position, but your knees on the ground. That will be a little lead-up activity for you to get in the proper plank position. Also, a quick note on the elbows should be directly under the shoulders like I am here. After our 1 minute front plank, we're gonna move to our second activity, which is either called a back bridge or a reverse plank. This exercise we are also going to hold for 1 minute straight. Once again, if you can't hold that perfect position, go ahead and take a rest. You can just take a seat and relax on the floor and then go back in after you have a little bit of a rest. Basic technique, as we see here, is we want to have our arms and feet flat on the ground. We want to have our feet shoulder width apart. From there, you're going to push your hips up so your legs, hips, and back are all in a straight line. When we push ourselves into this position, we should be pushing with our body weight through our heels, just like I'm showing you here. We also don't want to overextend like I'm showing you here. That's not good technique. Make sure we're in a nice straight line. We also want to try to turn our hips forward. That will help us make the straight line and get us in proper position. Once again, we're going to try to hold it for 1 minute, and that will wrap up our first two exercises, which work our core strength. Now we're going to move on to our third exercise, which is side leg lifts. All right, proper technique for our side leg lifts. We're going to make sure that we are laying on our side. We want to make a figure 4 with our hands and make sure our spine is straight. We also want to make sure when we're lifting our leg, we want to keep our toes parallel to one another. We don't want to have one going way out to the side or anything like that, like I'm showing here. We want to have them go straight up and down, and a nice solid technique, just like I'm showing you right here. Straight up and down, nice in a straight line. You are going to do 20 repetitions of this side leg lift, and then we're going to flip over to the other side. Here I am reminding you to keep your spine in alignment. That includes your neck. Remember, we don't want to have any wonky technique. A lot of times people will get off balance, something along those lines, or point their toes straight up in the air instead of keeping it parallel. We want to keep our toes and feet parallel as we're going up and down in a straight line. A lot of times when you do this technique, you'll discover one hip is stronger than the other. In this exercise, we're really working on our hip strength, and it will work down to your IT band as well. So if you're someone who has any knee injury or knee pain, this exercise will help you out greatly. Once we do 20 on each side, we're going to move to our last exercise, which is W's to I's, which is an exercise many people haven't heard of, but it's very important to get the technique right. One thing we definitely don't want to do when we're doing our W's to I's, we don't want to lift up with our head and our back to get this exercise done. I'm going to show you another angle to show you how to do this exercise a little better. Notice I'm making a W with my hands, and then I'm pushing them straight over my body. But as I'm lifting up, I'm actually using my shoulder blades to lift up my hands. I'm not using my elbows or my wrist. So you should really work on pinching your shoulder blades together before you push your hands over your head. We also want to make sure our hands are even and mirroring each other so one elbow isn't flying out or anything crazy like that. Another important piece of the technique is we want to make sure our forearms are staying as parallel to the ground as possible when we go out into our I and back into our W. This movement is also slow and controlled. That is not a race. You can see from the side angle here, I'm pushing my shoulder blades together first, and then I'm going out into my I, just like this, and then slowly going back into the W. And once again, notice my head is not moving at all. It's on the ground. In this exercise, we are going to do 10 repetitions. That's all you'll need. You can also change your hand position by going thumbs up if you want to go a little bit more advanced. This exercise really helps with the stabilization of our shoulder blades. So if you're one of the people who has any sort of arm issues, this really helps out with that. There you have it. That's the workout. We have a 1-minute front plank, a 1-minute reverse plank, 20 side leg lifts, and then 10 repetitions for our W's to I's. That should give you a nice solid core and stabilization workout.
I hope you enjoyed the workout. You should be doing it on most days. For sure, work in a couple of days off. You shouldn't be doing a workout every single day, but this is made so you can do it pretty much every single day. There's tons of awesome information out there as far as strength and conditioning training, so make sure if you want to do a little bit more, do some research. This was a very basic video. We might do some more advanced stuff later in the channel, but for right now, I think a basic one is pretty good for everybody. So hopefully you enjoy it. Make sure you're working on perfect technique, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.